We just got a bunch of sales data for the first week of the Nintendo Switch 2. And in there, we see that third-party launch games are actually performing very, very low. And if you're like me, you might be a little confused until you look deeper. And in this video, I'll be going in depth into all of that. So let's get into it. So this topic originally came to my attention because of this article. Third-party launch games on the Switch 2 reportedly sold very low numbers. And again, I was super shocked because the Switch 2 is selling records. I think it's almost at 4 million or is at 4 million globally at this point in the first week. To hear that third-party games aren't selling as well as they're thinking, it's kind of crazy. But then you actually have to think about it and then you realize like, oh. So let's get into it. Basically, this article from Nintendo Life says, most third-party Switch 2 games posted very low numbers at launch. As per data from Nissan IQ, 86% of Switch 2 game sales were first party, including Mario Kart World Bundle. If we exclude the bundle, the result would be 48%. For the US, 68% of sales were first party, excluding the bundle. And for comparison's sakes, launch sales for the Switch 1 were 81% in the US. I just stated a bunch of numbers there, and it might be a little confusing. But essentially, a lot of people are buying Mario Kart World and not buying all the other launched third-party games. That being all the games that you see here. And this image comes from Maxi Geek, by the way. And if you really do think about it, when looking at these launch titles, you could really see why they didn't really sell that well. One, because over half of these games are just ports and they're not newly released games. And two, most of these are on game key cards. And that might not be a big reason why the Switch 2 games aren't selling, but it definitely, no. Going back to the article, the best-selling third-party game was Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, while Sega is the third biggest third-party publisher for the Switch 2, with launch titles including Sonic X Shadow Generations, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, and Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S. And looking at all the titles we have now, it makes a lot of sense for Cyberpunk to be the best seller because it seems to be one of the only titles that actually showcases the system's performance. Actually, that's a lie because Hogwarts Legacy, Hitman, Signature Edition, even Yakuza 0 could definitely showcase the system's performance. It's just that the Cyberpunk team actively advertised it as pushing the limits of the Switch 2 and what it could handle. As well, can I add, it was actually on the cartridge. And they also did massive marketing rounds stating that this is on the cartridge and we believe in the gamers and, the right to own physical media and everything like that. Honestly, I'm glad that Cyberpunk is the best-selling third-party title, but the gap in between third party and first party is massive. Even though it is number one, it is probably only selling like hundreds of thousands instead of millions. From this article, those are only physical sales because that's the only thing we could track this early on in the generation. But I am interested to see the attach rate for Mario Kart World to a Switch 2. Because I don't know if you guys remember back in the Switch 1, Breath of the Wild had almost like 103% attach rate, meaning that there were more Breath of the Wild copies sold than there were Switch 1s. Let me see if I can find this article really quick. This article is from Forbes saying, how did Zelda Breath of the Wild for Switch outsell the Switch itself? And essentially, people just want to buy it digitally. People just want to buy a physical copy to keep and a physical copy to display because this was such a groundbreaking title. When it comes to Mario Kart World, I do not think it's going to have over 100% attach rate because honestly, the hype for it isn't as, I'm not going to say that the hype is great, but it isn't as impactful as Breath of the Wild was. So speaking of, Mario Kart World is still topping the charts in every single country. Right now we have the eShop charts for the US being digital downloads. It goes number one Mario Kart World, then Cyberpunk, then the upgrade packs for Zelda, and then Fantasy Life and Deltarune. Then in Japanese, Mario Kart World, again at the top, selling over 100,000 from the 9th through the 16th. And this is only in Japan. So 100,000 then for a launch title for a new generation is pretty high. Then this is where I'm talking about a significant drop off between third party and first party. And then it just goes 11,000. It significantly dips. And I'm pretty sure if we actually had the numbers for each country, it would be about the same dip, almost a 90% dip. And then, we have all the other games. Looking at the Famitsu Japanese charts, it is quite interesting to still see 8 Deluxe still up there and then selling more than Breath of the Wild, Switch 2, and Tears of the Kingdom. Again, these are physical sales, so I don't think they're actually counting the upgrade pack. And then in the UK charts, of course, Mario Kart World topping the charts, but then with Hogwarts Legacy and then EA Sports, Cyberpunk, and then Tears of the Kingdom. And the way they split the platforms, it's a little weird, but this includes Switch 2 as well as every other console as well. So that's might be why third-party titles are ranked higher. Do I think this is going to last long-term for third parties? No, I really don't think so. We'll have to see when a brand new third-party game launches on the Switch 2, if it'll hold up. Because right now, most of the games that are on the Switch 2 have launched in other consoles. And speaking from personal experience, let's just say Final Fantasy Intergrade. I know it's not a launch title, but I'm not going to pick it up on the Switch 2 because I have it on the PS5, and I honestly don't want to sacrifice that graphics quality. I understand wanting to play it on the go, but when it comes to like Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, I'm just going to play it in the house for that cinematic experience. And so with all the other games, the reason why I didn't buy Cyberpunk on the Switch 2, because I already have it on the PS5. And we have seen before from PS5 shareholders that Sony does not see Nintendo as a competitor because they see the PlayStation as a companion piece to the Switch, or the Switch as a companion piece to the PlayStation. And this is honestly exactly what they're talking about, because I've already bought games on the PlayStation. Even if they get ported to the Switch, I'm probably not going to buy it. Actually, I'm not going to buy it unless it's like Minecraft or something I see myself playing on the go. But yeah, I think that's one of the major reasons why third-party games didn't sell as well, because they're all ports. 2, we all only have a set amount of money. And especially if the launch game, the major launch game for this console is Mario Kart World being $80, I doubt a lot of us are gonna afford to buy another third-party game that's either $80 or more. 3, we're continuing to go. The Switch 1 games also got a massive upgrade on the Switch 2. So there is a lot more content to digest before going on to new experiences. So, we could re-experience Scarlet and Violet, Breath of the Wild, Age of Calamity, Mario Odyssey, all the games on the Switch 1 that we enjoyed, we could then play again free of charge because most of them got a free patch. So I think right now, when it comes to third parties, it's a little bit of a slow burn until we are all, I'm not going to say tired, but until we are all filled, until we're all a little bored of the stuff that we're playing right now. And I think that's honestly going to take upwards of 3 months till we start seeing third-party games start taking off. Because honestly, next month we have Bonanza. That's going to last for another while. Until we have a slow period for Nintendo, it's going to be hard for third parties to catch up. But then again, I am interested to see when a third-party game officially launches first on the Switch 2, or day-of-day release on the Switch 2, instead of a port. What might happen there. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Did you guys pick up any third-party games for the Switch 2? Anyways, I'm Crafty1. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you haven't already. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.